I'm Helen Shepherd. You may recognize me from episode 1, Frankenstein. Yeah. But I know you're not here to see me. I know who you're here to see. So, get loud, everybody. Make some noise for the host of HILF and your host tonight. It's the one and only Dawn Brodey.
And gentlemen, hello. Holy hot hammered shit, we're here. Look at us. Look at us. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad. I got to tell you, traffic sucks. Were you guys stuck in that shit? Yuck. Look at you. You got a big ice cube in there. You're healing yourselves. I'm so grateful to see you. Hi. Listen, if you're a big fan of HILF, can I hear you, please? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh. Jeff, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jeff. Oh, he's the best in the business. To all of you. Oh, my God. It's a little bitty pour, though. It's kind of a... Oh, my friends, if you are, and it sounds like you are, big fans of HILF, I'm not the only rock star on this stage tonight. No. Ladies and gentlemen, no. We have a lot of HILF guests here tonight. I'm gonna throw a little up. I'm not gonna name them all right now. I can't name them all right now. But my friends, we have right here in the front row, give it up, Ryan Keeley, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we fucked Jesse James together, didn't we, Ryan? And you were so shy, and you were so uncomfortable with all of that dirty talk, and yet we plunged through. We plunged through together. And can you imagine, right behind adult film star Ryan Keeley is my old neighbor Zari from the condo. Zari. Yes, from the Armenian. The Iranian Revolution, and you are with your son, Amir. My God, I love you so much. We get our nails done and have lunch regularly. I wasn't lying when I said we were friends. Look at right over here, Lauren Pritchard. Yes, for Joan of Arc. She brought me a box of croissants and 2 bottles of champagne. And we drank them both. Oh, and I don't have any favorites. But technically, the HILF right over here, that'd be the husband I like to fuck, ladies and gentlemen. Andrew Mulvey. Oh, yes. Yes, 2 episodes, and he put a baby in me. So, generous, I thought. And listen, and we've got bona fide fans, my friends. I am honored to introduce Josh and Savannah, right over here. They flew here. They flew here to see me. He brought me a present. It was a book by Mark Twain, and I got all tingly when I opened it. What a delight. And as we are gathered here, friends, for this HILF, I want to give you, of course, my plan. Because I hate to go forward without a roadmap, right, Kelly? We got to know these things. And so here's my plan for our HILF thing. We're live. I can see you. You can see me. I wore lipstick for this shit. We first are going to get into a brand new HILF, never before been HILFed. HILF, I'm so excited to share with you guys. I'm going to throw up. I'm so excited. This was I knew I was going to do Frankenstein. That was always the thing right away. I knew I was going to introduce George Washington, and I haven't completely done him yet because I honestly get really uncomfy when I talk about him. Eventually, I did an episode where I mentioned George Washington a lot, and I just listened to it recently, and I'm really and it's not great audio, so I have to George Washington was a real man, and he wasn't made of dicks. And I'm not ready yet. But this one, the HILF I'm going to HILF for you guys live tonight was in my top 5. I'm surprised it took me this long. And when I realized that we were all going to be together in person, I was like, yes. Oh, that's the one. So we're going to HILF a new HILF. And then we're all going to fall in love a little bit. We're going to play games a lot. And then I'm going to show you some underwear. That's my plan. That's my plan. It's a good one. But I have to take this jacket off. It could be it is a good jacket, but it's too hot. You take yours off now. It's a onesie. Bold for a woman in your line of work, Ryan. Bold. Oh, my friends. This HILF that I have for you tonight is honestly, it is such a joy. I knew that the live show was going to be an exciting thing to do. And I kept forgetting about the technical stuff because I'm just so in love with this story. Oh, fuck. I might cry a little. It's okay. I have enough whiskey to get through it. And like any good HILF, right, this one is going to start with a story. So, ladies and gentlemen, come with me, please, to June 28th, 1914 in Sarajevo, Serbia. You fucking nerds. Oh, shit, we know it. Some of you are like, what do we know? What do we know? June 28th, 1914. Well, you and me, we're gathered on the streets of Sarajevo because we're stoked. Franz Ferdinand and his beautiful wife, Sophie, are in town. Hot fuck. Here's the hot goss about these two, all right? Franz is the heir apparent to the Austrian-Hungarian throne. He's the heir apparent. You know this. She's holding her... Fucking sorry, this is a dark one for you. He's the heir apparent in part because his older cousin committed murder-suicide with his mistress. Right? And so it's kind of a oops surprise. And Sophie is stoked because she's lower born, girl. And that means that all these cunts wouldn't let her ride in his car or sit next to him at dinner. She's had 4 of his fucking babies. None of them get to be royalty. But he's not there as a king. He's here in Sarajevo as a knight, as like a military guy. So his bitch can ride along, right? It's allowed. So she's stoked. She's like, hell yeah, I'll go to Sarajevo. I get to ride in the car. Look at my hat. This is great, okay? And you and me, along the parade route here in Sarajevo, we're stoked because we get to celebrate that they own us now. It's a little complicated, right? But Austria-Hungary has just annexed Serbia. We know that word. It's not great. Gobbled it up. You're mine now. All right? So some of the folks on our parade route aren't as stoked about her hat as we might be. All right? And they're going through the parade route, and suddenly a young student, a revolutionary in a group called the Black Hand, hot, steps out with a grenade. I hate you fucks. Right? Throws a grenade, but as grenades do, it's a 1-1,000, 2-1,000 situation. The driver sees the grenade and so as it turns out, this grenade blows up the car behind Franz and Sophie. Right? And 2 people get very hurt, but they don't die, but they're like, what, how, wow. And the craziest thing about this whole story, you guys, is that Franz and Sophie go to their thing. Yeah, they had some fucking thing, and they went to that thing. Nuts. Then they come out of that thing, and they're like, what happened to those folks who got blown up? Are they all right? And they go, no. They're not doing great, but they're not dead. They're in the hospital. And Franz says, maybe we should go visit them. And Sophie says, great idea. Exactly, right? The people around him are like, I don't know. And one of their attendants says, no, I don't think we should go anywhere near those fucking people. They want to kill you. And they go, no, no. And then another guy, one of these Serbian guys says, wow, what do you think? Sarajevo's full of assassins? That's a quote. That's a quote. Wow, he says to Franz Ferdinand. Wow. What do you think? You're going to get killed here? And they go, wow, no, of course not. That'd be absurd. But we're not going to drive down the main route in our open-air car, right? That'd be crazy. So when we get to this main intersection up here, we're going to hang a right, not go straight. Everybody? Great. And they get in the car, and great, except nobody told the driver. So they get to this main intersection, and the driver with Franz and Sophie goes through, and they, no! And he sees the cars behind him turn right, and so the driver goes, my bad, stops. Beep, beep. And in one of those crazy happenstances of history, friends, one of the assassin's conspirators is sitting on that corner in a coffee shop, sad as hell, because he didn't get to kill Franz Ferdinand today. God damn it. Crying in his espresso. You know what I mean? And then there he is. There he is in an open-air car right in front of him. And this kid, Giervo Persip, stands up with his gun and shoots Franz Ferdinand and Sophie. And this is a very tragic story. But what the fuck is Franz doing with his hand? Oh, right, in this picture, it's a very like, get your hat isn't a big deal, buddy. It's not a great moment. But they're, both of them, dead within 1 hour. And, my friends, within 6 days of these two dying, the entire world is at war. It is in probably all your textbooks. This is the start of World War I. If we're going to try to find a start of World War I, it was the assassination of Franz Ferdinand in Serbia, right? But the fact is, all of these fucks been building up their military by 50% or more for like 10 years leading up to this. But it happens like this right away. 6 days, guys. 6 days in 1914, right? First thing is Germany goes, hey, Serbia, what the fuck? Right? You fuck with Austria-Hungary, you fuck with us, right? And then Russia's like, don't do that to Serbia. They got annexed. They're mad. That's reasonable, right? I'm not kidding. This, right? Then 12 hours later, Belgium's like, we'd rather stay neutral, right? And then the French are like, well, what? We've always hated the Germans, right? They're in right away. And then the British are like, right, well, I think we could leave out if as long as you don't invade Belgium. Oh, shit, right? They went through Belgium. It was a fire through the... And off we go to war. Oh, now, friends, this is where I am going to draw my first name. Because as we go throughout the show, we are here, you and me, in the present. This is live. And part of the fun of being here in the present live and not on the podcast, it's kind of a choose your own adventure thing. If you fart, somebody smells it. So I have in this bucket of destiny the names of the current previous guests who are in attendance. Right? And I have no idea who I'm going to draw out of here. But when I do draw this person's name, I encourage them to come to the stage and help me with the next portion of this story. Oh no, it could be anyone. Oh, would you look at that? It's episode 1, Helen Shepherd. Oh, lovely. Wow. Helen said to me, great, Dawn, I'll introduce you and then I'll sit down and then I won't have to do anything else. And I said, unless I draw your name. Hello, Helen. I have your microphone beautifully camouflaged right here. There, welcome. Tell me about your boots. Wow.
They're from a Goodwill. They were like in the dollar sale.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Alternate.
Can I just say, I did know what you were going to talk about then. I knew it was going to be the assassination of Franz Ferdinand.
You did?
Yeah, and now you're going to probably ask me something that I'm not going to know the answer to.
I don't know. This is, here's yours. All right. So what Helen is looking at, along with the rest of the audience, is a picture of me in the shower. I don't know why they laugh so hard. No, I'm just kidding. It's a map. It's a map of Europe at 1914. This is how things are all divvied up as our wonderful war begins. I like you, Joe, so much. I don't want this pole there.
Put this chair here for your coat, because your coat's too cool to be on the ground.
God bless you. Can we give it up for Lauren Pritchard, ladies and gentlemen? It really is. It really is. And it's also too tight on my arms. I really wanted to do like a bam, drop it. And then you ever have one of those outfits in like an intimate moment where, Ryan may speak to this, you really want to like have a moment, but then you're like, fuck these buttons. You know what I mean? And you thought you could, but you can't. So now you're like, sometimes it happens on stage. Okay. So this is the map of Europe at the beginning of World War I. You, Helen, in all of your British glory, I know you technically give a hoot about the red part.
Yeah.
Pretend for a moment you're the big glob of gray in the middle. You're Germany. Okay? You're Germany. You've decided you're going for it. You've picked this fight. These guys, the orange guys, Austria-Hungary, they're your buddies. And then some of these useless countries down here. Italy's like, nah, neutral. Ciao. Swiss is pink, because we all know. There's a big clitoral uselessness here. You're no French, foutois. And up here, Russia, these are the bad guys, which means you're starting this horse shit surrounded. So, taking a look here, Helen, knowing, of course, as everyone does, the military tactics that happen next, what would you do? What is your military plan? You have a few boats, but boats aren't great yet. You have a few planes, but planes aren't great yet. What do you do here?
Are you asking me, like, historically what happens, or what would Helen do?
What would Helen do? Yes, I'll go ahead and do the history part. Let's hear what... I'll go ahead. I'll cover that part. I'm very curious what you would do.
I mean, I've got ban the bomb tattooed on me, so I wouldn't go to war in the
Good
first
news.
place. Yeah.
Good news, 1914.
I should be in charge.
Takes a look at this map and goes, no. Can't win this one. Don't want to. It's not a bad idea. Frankly, it would have been slightly more effective than the plan that they actually had. It may interest you to know that they had kind of anticipated this moment. Hey, what if fucking France and Russia are both mad at us at the same time? What would we do? And this guy named Schlieffen was like, I'll tell you exactly what we'll do. It's called the Schlieffen Plan. I know you was right on the tip of your tongue.
Schlieffen.
Schlieffen. You Schlieffen. I just met him. Anyway. Schlieffen was like, here's what we got to do in this situation, guys. 85% of our troops head here to France. That'll be easy. They're easy to beat, right? All they do is smoke and moan about stuff. And so they're like, we're going to we'll circle Paris. 85% of our troops get in there, circle Paris, done deal. Then all of us head over here to Russia with them 85% because they're done. And we're going to have this war wrapped up in 6 weeks. 6 weeks underlined in the plan. And they might actually, it's possible, if they had actually done that. But when they got there, all sorts of idiots happened. You guys know this is the good news. If you don't like the current Trump administration, this is the good news for you too, is that assholes surround themselves with what? More assholes. Yeah, and they start stabbing each other fast. And so this cunt, here, I'll show you. His name is Alexander von Kluck. This mother clucker. This is him. Alexander von Kluck was like, fuck the Schlieffen Plan and fuck you. Right? He starts heading into Paris, and it was easy. Paris was actually kind of he was like, I think I can get it. But before they actually get to Paris, they're doing so well, and that guy fucking sucks, and you're ugly, and I think I can do what I want. And this guy, von Kluck, leaves a 30-mile gap in their line on the way to surround Paris. And you're from London. You know, they can actually fight, actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Pretty good at fighting.
And the Brits and the French are like, nah, mate. And they go, right? They go back, and these two start to go to a race to sea. And all of a sudden, Helen, on this whole line, from the English Channel to the Swiss Alps, you've got a continuous line of Germans versus English and French facing off against each other. Because the whole idea with war is you flank, right? You get around each other. And they kept doing this. I can't get around. 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 Building events 465 miles long, the Western Front, all along this blue line, and they dig in for trench warfare, and they get down and they get low. And you can go down and get low now, too. You're all done.
Thank you.
But walk slow when you go, because we all want to watch you go. Wow. Isn't she gorgeous? So appropriate that I brought an ally on stage as we discuss these central powers. All right, so we talked about that. We talked about Van Kluck. We're in the trenches of World War I, ladies and gentlemen. This shit sucks. War has always sucked, but it's possible that the worst kind of suckiest warfare is trench warfare, right? If you had any romanticized idea about what war was prior to 1914, it was a horse. You got to ride horses. They brought a lot of horses, actually, to World War I for about 6 months. They were like, whoa, this isn't a horse's deal, right? You go in with a horse and one guy with a rifle, and you face off in a field, and you fight, and whoever wins gets that field. And maybe you die, but if you don't, you go home at the end of the night. There's an end to that battle. Trench warfare in World War I introduced to soldiers for the first time in history continuous, unending conflict. No breath, no break. It's loud as hell. Artillery is introduced. Machine guns are introduced. And these trenches were like, wait, what? Dig, 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 dig. There was no plan for a Western Front. No one had that in their book, right? And the reality of a trench warfare is this. You are down low in the mud, and if anything comes up above the level of the ground, it gets shot. Happens all the time. Your friends are falling, your helmet gets shot off your head, and it's really, really scary, right? And then, every once in a while, maybe twice a day, you hear, charge. And you jump out of that trench, and you run across an open field into machine gun fire. And you can't stay, or your commander will shoot you in the back, right? You run across a field through huge craters and probably the bodies of dead people you know. And if you survive long enough to get to the razor wire, then you crawl over the razor wire while they're throwing grenades at you and probably some planes, right? And if you happen to get through the razor wire, then you jump into the enemy trench and you get to enjoy hand-to-hand combat. And if you survive that, chances are within 24 hours, you will be running back into the trench you left. And you will do this again and again and again for months, not 6 weeks, guys. At the point our story continues, we have been in these trenches for 5 months. And it's December. And it's cold. It's really cold. And it's Christmas Eve. It's December 24th, 1914, man. And we have been doing this, and our friends are dead, and maybe we get a couple days to play soccer with them. We fucking find, and the horses were screaming, and we had to shoot the horses. It's awful. And on Christmas Eve, something crazy happens, which is just a little bit of silence, just a tiny, not total silence, but it quiets down a little bit. Enough for the soldiers in either trench to hear more than just gunfire. And Joe, they hear this. What the fuck is that? And one of them starts to lean over. Do you hear that? Is it coming from our trench? No, I think it's coming. No, listen, there's voices too. And they hear, Salikt Nacht. We know that fucking song. And as they dare to just maybe peer as much as you can ever peer over a trench, they see lighted trees on the German parapets. Now, the stories that I'm going to tell you next together comprise what is known as the Christmas miracle of World War I. And one of the things I love most about this miracle is that it's true. The evidence is extraordinary. This absolutely happened. And when it comes to the definition of a miracle, it fits. A welcomed, inexplicable event that cannot be explained by the forces of science or nature. Something that can be interpreted as divine. They see these trees. These stories, by the way, have all been compiled. I'll share my source with you guys later. But this book is incredible. It's called Silent Night, and it is a collection of every existent letter, diary entry, newspaper report, personal account of this 48-hour period on the Western Front. So the trees are the first thing, and I don't know if you guys know this, Germans fuck with Christmas. Have you read this? Holy wow. If you haven't heard our Krampus episode, wow. The Germans are like, baby Jesus, big angry demon, we don't care. We'll do it all. We love it all. And we know there's a war going on. This shit sucks. That don't mean we can't get some trees up in here. You know what I mean? It didn't hurt at this particular moment. They kind of felt like they were winning. That never hurts anyone's holiday spirit, right? But they put up their trees and they start to sing. And the Brits and the French know those songs. They have the same songs. You want to know why? They got the same grandma. All right, Queen Victoria is the grandmother of Wilhelm II and George V. All right? And when you got the same grandma, you got some Christmas traditions, right? And as it turns out, both the Germans and the Allies had just gotten big presents from their royal families, their respective royal families, these really sexy little tins with a picture of princes on it, and it had cigarettes inside and chocolates and a little note, hope you don't die, lovely. and you know, they're feeling pretty good. And this is my favorite account from the many that existed on the Western Front of the first encounter on Christmas Eve. So they hear the Germans singing. And in this particular opposing trench, it was the Scots. Anyone been intimate with the Scots? They're extraordinary people. And the Scots hear the song, and they say, all right, we've got a song for you, right? And they start to sing this nasty, bawdy, sexy, I would have loved it, I'm sure. Lost to history exactly what it was. Some Scottish song about titty fucking on Christmas or something, right? That's my mind. That's what it is. Right? And the Germans, some of them, know enough English that they're like, woo! That's a great one. They laugh and they say, we loved it. We loved it. Let's sing a song we can sing together. And the Scots yell back in this dialogue. The Scots yell back, we would rather die than sing in German. And the Germans yell back, if you tried, it would kill us. A joke. A joke. They told a joke. And in this particular line of the Western Front, that joke was all it took. Because a moment later, a German yelled, you don't shoot. We won't shoot. And there's stillness. And then he stands up. He stands up with his hands, not like this, like this. I'm not surrendering, but I'm unarmed. And nobody shoots him. And he walks into the middle of no man's land. And he stands there for a minute. Can you imagine? And he says, gentlemen, this is the quote, gentlemen, Will no one come and meet me? I am waiting. And one of the Brits says to his officer, can I go? And he doesn't answer him. He's like, this is not in the... I mean, these trenches alone are a big fucking surprise, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. And while they're fucking talking about it, some guy from London stands up and walks out on his own. Hello. And he shakes his hand. And they slowly, on both sides, do something, man, they haven't done in 5 months. They just stand up and look at each other and then slowly walk out into no man's land. Like, what the fuck? Guys, this happened spontaneously and sporadically all along the Western Front. What happened next varies, but I'll spoiler alert for you. None of it's violent. This story does not end with them shooting each other, okay? In fact, they share cigarettes. There's not a ton of photos, but I have some. You can tell they're from opposing sides by the shape of their helmets, right? And they started to notice the difference, and they did not speak the language. And who did, very interestingly, that some of the Germans had worked as cab drivers and waiters in London. So some of them knew a little English, and some of them, this is crazy, one of the guys met his old barber. I was like, fucking Fritz! I mean it. And he sat down to get a shave. I wish I was lying. And the guy says, I'm shaving you, I could cut your throat, save some bullets. That's a real story. They shake hands. This moment is, in fact, immortalized in a statue. They shake hands. Hi, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, right? And in what I think is one of the most stunning, right? They play soccer. So it starts when they're all sort of out there like, all right. And in one place, a rabbit ran out, because these are farmers' fields that they're standing in. And they instinctually, because they are most of them boys, right? Young rural boys. They go like, oh, fucking rabbit. And they all just start to chase the rabbit, and it's fun, and it's funny. And shortly after that, a ball, soccer ball, gets thrown out. And one of the things I love most about this particular picture is that what happened right before this is they buried each other's dead. Because it was really hard in the daylight of Christmas Day to see the carnage around them. And so my particular favorite quote, this comes from a British colonel. He says, we gravely saluted each other. A lieutenant on the other side recalled, and then I pointed to 9 dead Germans lying in the minefield and suggested burying them, which both sides proceeded to do. We gave them some wooden crosses, which completely won them over, and soon the men were on the best of terms and laughing. Right? So, how does it end? Right? I told you they don't start shooting at each other. Some people did get shot. That's one of my favorite parts. Every once in a while, some guy would be like, a sniper would fire, and they'd be like, wow! Wow! And the sniper would be like, I feel like, what? Wow? I feel like, wow. And they're like, we're playing soccer, you dick! And then they'd like wheel off the guy who got, some people got killed, and they were like, this isn't fair, man, But it didn't dissolve. It didn't do the thing I was imagining and maybe you were imagining, which is everyone sort of wakes up and goes, oh yeah, we're fucking supposed to kill each other, right? Instead, they did what you do in normal life, which is, who's shooting at us? Why would you shoot at us, right? So they bury each other's dead, right? And then they play. And when it's done, they know, okay, Boxing Day, for those of you who celebrate Boxing Day, it's almost as good as Christmas. And in some of those places, right, it was more important than Christmas, so it bled over a little bit into the next day. There was some suspicious lack of firing. But commanders start coming through and being like, hello, we are at war. It is vitally important that we start killing each other again, and right now would be great. Right? And you might be thinking, right? Inevitable. It's inevitable that this peace would end. It's not. It was really hard for them to get these guys to start killing each other again. In one of the German places, they mutinied. The guy came in, he was like, right, fire. And they were like, on those guys? And they almost quit, mutinied. Court-martial me, I won't do it, right? In other places, they warned each other, our commander's coming through tomorrow. We're gonna have to shoot at you a little bit, right? We're really sorry about this. We'll aim as high as we can. Literally warning each other back and forth. There was always a strategy of rotating the front, but it was always done because of casualties and exhaustion. After the Christmas miracle of World War I, rotating a stagnant front became important, so we never had peace like this again. Because of how easy it is to actually see the humanity of people once you're up close with them, right? So what is the moral of the story, right? One of the most frustrating things about researching this particular history was how many of the historians said, what a stupid little moment. What an insignificant, silly little moment. We don't mention it for a reason. It's because it's dumb. Because what happens after this is 5 more years of war. Those trenches I showed you, they just do that for 5 years. Then we get chemical weapons. About 6 months after that, we start melting each other's faces off inside these holes. It just gets worse and worse and worse. But it was the last World War we ever... Wait, no, right? And then we do it again. And so in hindsight, we look at these stupid fucking moments in human history and we go, dumb, childlike, it's silly, it's meaningless. And I disagree enthusiastically, right? I believe that, in fact, making peace is inevitable and seeing the humanity in each other is easy. Making war is and should be hard. Because about a mile off of the Western Front, there was a soldier, a German soldier, who didn't participate in this truce, but he had heard about it. And he fucking hated it. And he said, oh, I hate this. How dare you? It is a violation to your oath as a soldier. It is a violation to your oath as a German. And his name was Adolf Hitler. He didn't think it was silly or stupid. He thought it was dangerous and awful and egregious. And maybe that alone is a good endorsement, right, on why we should do it. And there were other warmongers. Not everyone who witnessed this wrote about it glowingly. There were a lot of people who wrote in their diaries, these squibs, these weenies, these boys, these children running out there and playing games. I'm furious. I can't wait to start slitting throats again. But they also said how they felt during this moment was small. I felt so small. I felt so insignificant. I felt like I couldn't do anything, which is how they should feel. That's how they should feel. And it's easy to make them feel that way. We have the recipe. I just told you. If you need to make peace, you need a song, a joke, a smoke, and a game. Right? That's it. That's it. If these guys can do it, we can do it. A song, a joke, a smoke, and a game, man. And if you recall, when I came out here, girl, I danced to a song. There have been jokes. They were peppered with trench warfare talk, but there were jokes. The smoke, I'm way ahead of you. Me and the Dish Boys have a tradition here at Flowers. And the games, I intend to begin right now. Hit it, Joe. Hit it, Joe. Hey, ow. Boom, boom. Woo. Oh, my friends. Games. These games are going to be delightful. Now, I believe my friend Amber has a bucket of destiny. Now, friends, if you are not one of my previous guests, but a fan, or touching the beautiful thigh of one of my previous guests, you too can participate and win fabulous and mysterious prizes. If you see right in front of you here, down by these lamps, are these little cards. You put your name on that card and then drop it in the bucket of destiny. I am going to be drawing names throughout the show for your opportunity to take history quizzes and games. He said, no, thank you. And Ryan said, here's your pencil. You'll be filling that out. And, of course, I have my previous guests here who will be facing off. Friends, here's my plan. How many of you, by applause, believe that you have listened to every episode of the HILF podcast? Oh, 100%. I listened to that one twice, right? Yeah. Andrew, which one did you listen to 4 times? Was it Zari's? Isn't she amazing? It was. She's amazing. I know. Sometimes I listen to it just to be like, Well, this will be your chance. If you have listened to every episode, this will be an excellent chance for you to have the HILF off. Testing your knowledge. How much did you retain as you did those road trips? Yeah, it's tough. Now, I also have in the game, you don't have to just have quiz. You don't have to know history stuff exclusively, because I have here the 36 questions. Oh, friends. Do you know what the 36 questions are? Of course she does. This is the most well-read woman you've ever met in any line of work. 12 years ago, the New York Times did this study. This is so fucking nuts. That if 2 people sit down across from each other and answer 36 questions, these 36 questions in order each, they will fall in love with each other. They were like, for real, you will. And of course, several journalists were like, no. And they were like, yeah. And they sat down and did it, and guess what? They still married. I looked it up before I came. They fell in, they were like, this can't be real. They fell in love. They got married. It's real. We don't have time to go through these 36 questions. Nobody has time. Plus, I already have one, and I love him a lot, and things are going great. It would be so complicated. But I feel like we can fall in love a little bit, right? So if your name is drawn and you get this like urinary explosion, that is like, oh no, I like Dawn so much, she's gonna know I don't know history. You don't have to do that. You can answer a vulnerable question about yourself instead, and we can get to your emotional intelligence instead. And you will also have the choice of who you would like to answer that question in return. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Amber, do you have that bucket of destiny, my darling? She's like, actually, I am getting cookies. There. Do we have names inside? If you have your ticket, hold it up. Drop it in the bucket. Hey, who are you? I don't know you.
I'm Shane.
Hi, Shane. Nice to meet you, Shane. This is everybody. Everybody, this is Shane.
Hi, everybody.
All right, Shane. There'll be another opportunity if you don't get in this one. I'm going to be doing it again. I see hands. I see there. Oh, Joe. What a guy. Can we please give it up for Joe in the booth? What a guy. What a guy. Who among you listened to the Mary Ramos Black Death episode of HILF that just came out? 1 and 2. See, she's like, I said I listened to them all. I was going to bring the death dice tonight to see who survived the plague, but I feel like it's too dark. Well, I figured a World War I trench is going to be uplifting enough for one evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the present, in the real time, whom will be quizzed? We have Zari. Zari. Now, Zari, you have the choice. You can join me on stage, or you can make your son do it. I know you're not going to disobey your mama, Amir. I know it. Oh, my goodness. Give it up for Amir joining me on stage. Here's a microphone for you, Amir. Amir, welcome. Amir, you are Zari's son, am I correct?
Yes, you are.
And how threatening and persuasive did she have to be to get you to come out here tonight?
She just told me the show is called HILF,
Yes.
and I did not think the H stood for history, so I was like, I gotta go see what this is about.
I'm very curious to think, did you think the H did stand
I was hoping
for?
like hottie or something like that.
Be like, Mom, say no more. I'll be there. I'll pick you up early. So compared to hotties, how does history factor?
First of all, this was fantastic.
Oh, thanks. Hey, thanks. We got one, guys. We got another one.
I didn't think I'd be glad that it stood for history, but...
Hey, right? Exactly. And I'm showing a little midriff here. I mean, it's not a lot, but I've given a little. Thanks. Now, my question for you, Amir, is do you feel more comfortable with history trivia or with emotional vulnerability?
Oh, I'm a man, so... history trivia.
Oh, all right. I was like, he is a man. We're gonna get vulnerable. All right. So what?
Not that I'm comfortable with history trivia, but.
Well, we're about to find out.
So.
I mean, and nobody's watching. It's just us two, I'm sure. So in this bucket, Amir, are the names of previous guests in attendance. There's a chance some of them aren't here, which will be a very awkward moment, but we'll edit that out. So we're going to reach in here, and then we will find out what the subject is that you will be quizzed on.
All right.
Try not to peek. Oh. He chose episode 15, The Salem Witch Trials, with Alex Malt. And as luck would have it, there's Alex right there in the front row. Alex Malt. Now, you can stay where you are, Alex. We're going to see. Now, here's a question. What do you think, just off the top of your head, do you feel like you are going to be pretty good at some Salem witch trial history trivia?
No, I don't.
You're not. The confidence, your masculine confidence has wilted awfully fast.
I've heard of the Salem witch trials.
You've heard of it. Okay. Let me ask you, Alex, do you feel that you have retained a significant amount of the history that we learned together in your episode?
I'd like to think so.
He'd like to think so. So are you a gambling man, Amir?
When I'm a favorite.
You know what I mean? This is tough. So I have one question, a trivia question from the Salem witch trials in general, but something I covered in the episode with Alex. So your question now is, do you think if you can answer this question correctly, you get the prize, which is HILF merch. Ooh, actually, where's Savannah? Savannah, do you have your hat? I gave her a baseball hat, you guys. I got a really cool trucker hat with like George Washington. Looks like he wants to bone ya. Yeah. So you can have a hat or a tote bag or a koozie. Kind of cool stuff. Or do you feel like, he doesn't look like he retains as much as he said. He seemed pretty uncomfortable. I'm going to throw it to Alex. And then Alex gets to keep the merch.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose this either way, so I'm going to throw it to Alex.
You're going to throw it to Alex. Yeah. All right, Alex. Actually, you know what? If you get it right, I'm still going to give it to Amir. What did the affected girls of the Salem witch trials, all of the girls who claimed that they were being abused by witches, what did they have in common? The same maid at the beginning. This isn't bad. This isn't bad. This isn't bad. But what about the later ones? They all had a life experience, something that happened to them in their childhood that we realized was the same, that they shared. Oh, shit. Oh, Amir, you blew it. Anybody want to steal? Oh, hell's bells. Go ahead.
The trauma?
The trauma, Alex. The trauma. The trauma. That's right. The Salem witch trials, the girls who were all abused. You know, the history has been like these dumb sluts, right? That was kind of, you know what I mean? Like historians have been like these teenage sluts. Somebody wanted to have sex with the priest and they were all lying to get attention. And that was kind of how history wrote it, right? Turns out most of these girls had witnessed their family being murdered. And we're experiencing some serious trauma and possibly also hallucinations. I'm surprised you forgot that. I'm ashamed of you. But I'm very proud of you, Amir. Give it up for Amir. I'll take your microphone. He did great. Do you guys see how nice I am? I'm like, do you know things? Do you feel like you should know things? I'm going to give him a koozie. Amir, do you like drinking beer? Or do you like to drink beer but pretend it's a Mountain Dew or something like that? This koozie is going to help you out. There you go. Give it up for him. Thank you, Lauren. I feel like between the jacket, you know what I mean, and the koozies, you get second billing on this thing. It's absolutely amazing. All right, the next one to come up for our 36 questions is coming out of the bucket right now. I would like you, Mr. Trauma, right? Wasn't that a terrible thing to learn about these girls? Pick the next one out of there. Oh. Forrest Shaw! Forrest Shaw, join me on stage, Forrest Shaw. Yeah, come on up. Keep it going for Forrest. Woo! Oh my goodness, Forrest Shaw, ladies and gentlemen, from episode 57 on the Conch Republic. Please, you hear that? People are calling it out like it's your hit single. Yeah, Conch Republic. It was so good. Forrest Shaw, ladies and gentlemen, who we met doing Jim Jeffries' podcast.
I don't know about that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, you do know
that was
about
the name
that.
of the podcast. It's not around anymore.
That's breaking my heart. It kills my heart.
Sorry. Yeah.
I don't know about that. Is now I don't know about Splat. It's over. It's finished. But I got to meet you.
Yeah. You did 4 of them?
I did 4.
I think, right?
I did Frankenstein, and then I did the Vibrator. And then we did the live. Was it 2 live or 3?
2 live.
2 live?
Titanic. And the woman that flew the plane, I can't remember her name.
Amelia
Earhart. I swear to God, I couldn't remember her name for a second.
Really? Was that real?
Yeah. I'm getting old. My brain just doesn't work. I was like, she flew a plane. I don't know. Just missing.
Oh my God, she's like the only woman anyone thinks of when they
I
think
just
of flying
didn't
a plane.
remember it right now, and I was like, "Fuck, what the fuck is her name?"
It's all right. I think this is going to go very well. I think for our trivia.
I know this. I know this. Whatever.
You do remember the
I don't
Conch
remember how
Republic
this game
stuff?
works. It was very complicated to me over there, but
It was.
I will remember the answer.
Oh, I'm such confidence.
I know the answer.
Oh my God! All right.
I got it.
All right.
Who's winning? Who's going to win something?
We're all
'Cause
winning.
I got it.
We're all winning. We're all
Okay.
winning. This now, Forrest Shaw. Let's see. We did this episode March of 2024. So this year, this is a 2024
That was this year?
retention. March.
Holy shit.
It was spring. You went to Europe. You went to Europe since then, right? Didn't you do a tour? You went with Jim somewhere.
No, that was the
exciting.
year before. Oh. Yeah.
And then what was the other? You had another podcast quit on you. You should do HILF, man. We keep going. Your podcasts fall apart. Mine just go and go
I
and
didn't know I
go.
was going to get roasted when I came up here. Come to the podcast. It'll be fun. We'll
It'll
just
be
ask
fun.
you a few
If I
questions.
draw your name, I'll be like, you're
We're going to be
dumb.
nice. You're like, yeah, you've had some other things fail.
Yeah.
Let's go through those right now. Yeah, it was called what was the other one? The Mermen podcast. That's gone. I was doing one about Miami Hurricanes college football. I think that's out now that they already lost. And all right, settle down. All right. All right.
Wow.
What's that?
Failed relationships.
Oh, we have a request. We have a request for you to go through failed. Do you want them chronologically or alphabetically?
All right. Oh, mine. I thought you wanted me to do a podcast on that.
Well, it would, but it wouldn't last very long.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
Oh, no. No, don't be mean. A joke, a smoke. A song, a joke, a smoke,
Hey,
and a
come
game.
on. You were ragging on me, too.
I
who it
know.
was.
All right, here's both our redemption.
Who's winning?
You are winning right
Oh,
now.
I thought it was like I answered and someone gets a
No, but
prize.
actually, that's true. Let's say, do you're very confident. You already said you believe very
got it.
strongly that you're going to answer this
Got it.
question correctly.
Yeah.
So when you do, to whom goeth the spoils that be a koozie? Who do you think should get the koozie?
Didn't somebody fly here?
If you get it right. Yeah,
They
Josh
should get
flew here.
something. They flew
Yeah,
here, yeah.
for sure. I already gave him a hand job,
Oh,
but
you flew here?
We're here for less than 24 hours.
they're probably just... Chad, you came. Well, goddamn, I'll give you more.
Did you not know
I'll
they
give
flew
you
here?
more. I'll give you
Yeah.
more in a koozie.
Somebody else flew here, though.
I'll give it. I know
Two
it
flyers.
looks. It looks like I mean anal because of the way I'm standing, but. Yeah. I don't know. It depends on how
Your
far you
husband's
flew
here.
in.
I'm going to go over here. So.
If you flew in from far enough away, it's possible. Memphis, I'll
So
show you my
far.
titties. I'll show you my titties. from Memphis. Meantime, Washington's like, I brought my daughter, but if it is titties, she can wait in the car. The podcast business, my agent is here. The podcast business is very complicated, Adam. There's a lot of ins and outs. Am I right, Ryan? All right. That's right. Here's your quiz question for us.
Yeah, got it.
Per the Conch Republic, which is the imaginary independent nation of the Florida Keys, what is the official motto of the Conch Republic?
Oh, yeah, I forgot this. I knew everything else, but I forgot that.
I'm willing to, for the sake of our flags.
There's a flag. There's a conch shell on there.
Correct.
It says something about drinking, probably. Or, I just know the Florida Keys. Bread.
It's
Is there bread?
It's a pun.
Oh yeah.
There's a pun involved.
Broken show. There's not another question? There's like not another one?
No, I'll give you a.
Give me a word.
We.
No, that's not gonna help. That's
No,
all
I
fucking
was
mottos
gonna
start
give
with
you.
we.
I was gonna give you more.
We the people.
We seceded.
Oh yeah. We seceded.
We seceded.
And
where
others succeeded. We seceded. Does it rhyme? Does it rhyme?
No.
Oh, okay. Fucking A.
But
I think I know everything else about this event except for we seceded.
You knew about the bread. The bread was important.
That's
It's
why I said,
unrelated.
That's why I said bread. I thought you were going to do the bread question, honestly.
It was impressive.
We
it was
seceded where others failed.
Yes! Yes!
Oh, is that it?
We seceded! We seceded where others failed. Forrest Shaw. Here,
I knew it all along. I knew it all along.
I'm going to let you give this to
Who
Chad.
gets it?
This guy down here,
Chad?
Captain America down here, who flew here.
Here you go, Chad.
So grateful.
There
Thank you,
go.
Forrest Shaw.
All right, thank you.
Amazing. Oh, my God. I feel like I should burn sage up here so you don't destroy my podcast. I hope it doesn't fall apart. Oh, my goodness. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to draw one more previous guest out of this bucket of destiny. One more. One more. You're so beautiful. I say this in part because now I know you bought plane tickets to come see the show. You were always beautiful, but that means the world to me. Here. Ready? Ooh. Get down in there. Who do we have? Pete Bredmeyer, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Bredmeyer. Hey, Pete Bredmeyer from episode 48, The Battle of Blair Mountain. Ooh, Pete, look, you brought your booze. Hi. I'm so glad to see you. No, I wish you would have worn socks with your sandals, but the booze I can live with. Wow. There's a lot going on down here,
Can you
guys.
see my toe fungus?
We have a lot of cameras. We have a lot of cameras for this show, and I'm not sure any of them are going to be able to capture what's going on here. So good for you. Boy, that's bold. What a bold.
We'll plant a fasciitis and you'll wear your sandals everywhere.
Oh, it's a damn shame. They're very nice. You know, Barbie made these Birkenstocks fashionable again. So, and gynecology. Friends, Pete Bredmeyer, for episode 48, The Battle of Blair Mountain. Man, boy, who remembers the episode for? Wow, right? That one,
an obscure one, but I thought it was incredible.
It blew my mind. That was one of those that I went in like this. I don't know anything about this. Yeah. Nothing. And then do you know what that episode introduced me to the guy who did the Lemuria, the island, lost island of Lemuria. He's a West Virginia historian. And this was actually a big deal because he was like, so I was scouring the internet on Blair Mountain stuff. And I was like, yeah, right? And then you saw these titties, right? And he was like, and I listened to your episode, and I got really nervous because I was like, did I fuck it up? And he was like, no, actually, you did a really good job. That's why I reached out. I want to do an episode with you. And I was like, oh. So he had good things to say about you, too.
Well, now I want to know about that episode.
I know.
I didn't hear that one.
Well, see, we got fans. They'll tell you all about him.
I'll listen to it now.
And Peter Brettmeyer, ladies and gentlemen, he's fantastic. You've also been on every show I think I've ever done. I did a show called the Trailer Trash Talent Review in Van Nuys when I lived in my trailer park, and Pete was one of my first guests on that one, too.
I still have my cap.
Oh.
I think it's sitting in my car. I brought it and forgot to put it on.
I should have given you
socks. I wanted to do it in tribute
socks.
to you.
That's what I should have given you. I wish I would have given you socks. So here's what we have now. Your quiz question, what do you think the odds are of you remembering any of the information from your episode?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Now, if it's going to be somebody's name, some dude who was like,
Yeah.
it's like that's going to be tough.
You don't have the dude stuff. Okay.
I don't have, like I know the events and but the names are going to be tricky.
Okay.
I think I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm pretty good.
Okay. I feel like that was like a C. It feels like, I don't know, Professor.
I'm going to say B minus. I'm going to B minus.
I could pass this class. I'm not going to blow anybody's hair back, but I might pass this class. Okay, I feel like that's coming. Looking out here, who do you think should receive the merch that you may or may not win for our audience?
You know, I was going to... This lady here in the white shirt, I think, needs a present to take
That
home.
looks like somebody who could keep a beer cold.
Yeah.
Right? You got to keep them cold.
Yeah.
Even if they're not cold, you got to drink it in 2 minutes. That's Wisconsin rules. So, all right. So here's the question from your episode on the Battle of Blair Mountain, which was the incredible armed conflict, of course, between these poor miners and their shit-eating fucking overlords.
Yep.
That's a summary. It's not verbatim. That may be not how it's put in your history book, but that's what it was. Here's the question. Okay. Mother Jones, a big figure in the history of the Battle of Blair Mountain. She was great, but she was also a liar. What was her big lie leading up to the Battle of Blair Mountain?
I know this.
He knows this.
I do know this.
From his head to his toes, and there they are. He knows this.
If I'd have worn socks, they'd be in my socks. She lied about saying that the president had sided with the miners.
Ooh! Ladies and gentlemen, Pete Brettmeyer.
Right? Is that right?
That is absolutely correct. Mother Jones's old-ass lady looked like Tweety Bird's grandma.
Yeah.
Gets up there and goes, everybody, you stop this here, because I got a letter right in my hand from Warren Harding. Says,
She did not have a letter. She
He
pretended
loves
to
you.
have a letter.
Yeah, exactly. And then a couple of the guys were like, could we see the letter?
And she responded with, no. I'm not
No.
going to show you the letter.
And they were like, but it's kind of a big deal what you're saying. And then they went ahead and I love this part. They asked the president, which in this, right? Excuse me, did you tell Mother Jones? And he was like, no. So fast. Yeah, she lied right to their faces for good reason. She didn't want them to get their asses handed to them, which is what happened. But yeah, extra credit. Do you know who the president was?
Well, you just said Warren Harding.
A joke. I think I made it point that the
Do I
smoke
get the points
is
anyway,
critical.
though, even though you said it? Because I
Yeah.
remembered that you said it, right? So that's a few points.
Absolutely. That's for your friend in white, and that's for you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Can
Ladies and
I
gentlemen.
give you the smallest bit of trivia that it's been blowing my mind since you mentioned it?
I insist.
And I'm not kidding you. This is for real.
Yes.
My uncle, Art Aaron, created the 36 questions and wrote that article in the New York Times that you're talking about.
What?
He's been studying the love centers of the brain at Columbia University for like 35 years now, and he's has couples that he's been interviewing over those 35 years and adding couples to the study. And he's, people who have been in relationships for 30 years, 15 years, 20 years, 6 months, 5 months, and he developed those cards to create intimacy. And we actually just had a family reunion this summer, and we did the 36 questions at the family reunion. Not all of them, 'cause it takes a long time to do them.
And you created some intimacy with your family. Yeah,
but it was just like, when you mentioned it, I was like, I was like, what? My uncle wrote those.
That's so nuts. What a small world. Well,
Thank
give it
you.
up for you and your uncle. Wait. Before you go, Pete, don't leave. I feel like in honor of that, I want you to pick one. I feel like we have to answer, then see if it was one from your... Well, no, I'm not trying to lead.
Like a magician.
No, I'm trying to lead you to...
Right. Oh, this is a really good one.
Would you break the law to save a loved one? Would you, Peter Brettmeyer, would you violate our sacred laws of California and Los Angeles to save a loved one?
Most of the time.
Oh. I feel like I need... Most of the time, because sometimes those cunts have it coming. Right? If that idiot, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm into women's rights totally, except for my daughter. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, she knows nothing. She knows nothing. I don't think you should give her that much grace. Be like, oh, she's a woman. Believe her. I'm like, she said her dad was dead she told her kindergarten teacher her dad died. She did. And her teacher was like, oh my God. And it was because we went to the Titanic exhibit in Las Vegas. And this is a true story. And when you get on the Titanic exhibit, they give you a boarding pass that says and then at the end of the exhibit, when you're full of feelings, it tells you if you lived or died. And it turns out Beatrice and I lived, but our father, sadly died. All of that context is lost when Beatrice goes into kindergarten and is like, my dad died. Right? And I was like, you don't need to believe all women. So I totally get how somebody be like, that did he drunk and drive? Then he should sit in jail for the night. But under what circumstances would you not break the law to save a loved one?
Well, there are certain crimes that are awfully big. I mean, I guess the word saved is an interesting word. Like, what do you mean saved? Like, save them from death? Save them...
Like, I can't jaywalk, or to save them from that bus, I'd be violating the municipal code. Like, you'd do that.
Of course.
If your toes can get fast enough across the street to actually do any good.
Like, if my son killed somebody, maybe I'd sort of have to think about what was going to happen based on that.
This is an important context. Somebody from the audience just yelled, "Who'd he kill?"
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming. You heard of Netflix, right? Well, they got a documentary waiting for you and your son. I think you're exactly right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I suppose it's contextual, right? Yeah. I mean, isn't it?
Well, like, if I just smoked a big blunt and then school calls and they're like, you have to come pick up your daughter, I'd be like, well, looks like I'm going to break a couple laws today. Sure. To save a loved one.
Of course. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, if they were like, Beatrice just stabbed some kid on the playground, I'd be like, I'll be there in 3.5 hours when this thing wears off. Sounds like she fucked up. Do you feel the love that we just built between each other with that moment? Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Brett Meyer. Can't believe his uncle wrote those things, man. How cool is that? All right, wait, I have to sneak peek and see if I did it. Yeah, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I wish we could stay all night. Yes. I know, right? Jeff is like, go home. But I want to leave us with this, my friends.
Yeah, let's go.
So, I'm originally from the beautiful state of Wisconsin. Thank you. We are known for our delicious cheese. Cheese curds. It's specific for you, but yes, under the umbrella of cheese. I was shocked to learn recently that the #1 export of my fine state of Wisconsin is not cheese. Yes, I learned this on the radio. I moved here. I was like, this is going to be great, right? This is going to be great. I might not come to town the prettiest, the most connected, the fewest STDs. Big deal, big deal. Because when it comes to the cheese tray, I'll be the judge of that, right? And I was very excited. And then I hear this twat on the radio. I'm here one week, says, hey, California, guess what? You're the dairy state. Right? What? I went home, my Google's like, happy cows, she said. Do you guys remember that campaign? Happy cows. I was like, surely she's not talking about me. No, right? Happy cows in California. I was like, what the fuck is this fucking dumb shit? And I Googled it, and it turns out California not only makes way more cheese than Wisconsin, it has been quietly making more cheese than Wisconsin for decades. Did you know that? They tell everybody here. Nobody told Wisconsin. They have no idea. I was just there. They have no idea. They're still wearing them hats. Cheese, right? That's our thing, cheese. They have no idea. They're living a lie. All right? And I was devastated by this. And I was like, well, that's all right. You know what? So we don't make more cheese than anyone else. That's okay, because cheese is the thing we make the most of. Ha ha! Right, Internet? No. No. Turns out, on the list of Wisconsin's official exports, cheese is 6th. 6th! Shocking! Right? What is it going on here? What is our identity? What is our place in this world? Wisconsin. And this broke my heart, but nothing was more shocking than what was #1. Would anyone care to guess? Beer. You guys are like, we know this one. Some of those idiots said cheese. I was going to say beer the first time around, right? Beer is a great guess. We make a ton of beer. We drink it. Cranberries is also a great guess. Home of ocean spray. Cranberries is 4th. Beer, ginseng, another great, which we're hoping, fuck the ginseng, grow weed, right? TikTok, but no, it's not ginseng. Ginseng's in the time, right? Serial killers, no. Serial killer documentaries, no. It turns out the #1 export in the state of Wisconsin is called bovine genetics. Huh. Which is, cow sperm is a fundamental misunderstanding of how that works. It's bull. Cows do the milk. But this guy's got the right idea. You milk them long enough, am I right? Bull semen. Our #1 export is bull semen. Yes, not cheese. Jizz. If you whip it long enough, I'll trust you on that one. But we did stop milking them, and we were like, well, you know what? Right? Crazy. I know this can be hard to swallow. I understand. But listen, I figured I don't need to reserve my talents for just the History Channel and the podcast. I can dig deep in the annals of Wisconsin. And I'm going to find something else for my fair state to be proud of. Something else we did historically that's meaningful and true. So we don't have to stand. What do you have?
I have a fun fact about how they actually do procure.
Oh my God, I can't wait to hear this. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Keeley, a HILF on MILF. What a day. Get up here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ryan Keeley.
I wasn't going to say anything, but then you said annals of Wisconsin, and I'm like, well, actually, that's really specific to how they procure the bull semen.
Okay.
So has anyone here ever been involved in that process?
Anyone?
Has anyone here put a steer in a head gate?
Anyone? Joe, I feel like...
Okay.
I feel like somebody here. No, Mary? No?
So
right.
you have, okay.
Oh.
How would you describe the process of
collecting bull semen? Maybe some adjectives.
Would anal be one of those adjectives?
No, I mean, I just say if that puts a big, cow vagina on.
Nope.
They put a
Nope.
cow
Nope.
vagina?
Nope.
Ryan
Nope.
says bullshit.
What they do is they put a probe up the rear of the steer.
The anus.
The anus.
Thank you.
And they shock it repeatedly with a electric shock. This was in Virginia, so.
Oh, Virginia bulls get it rectally.
Rectally, yes.
It's for rectally is for lovers. It's an excellent point. Okay, this is good to know. You know what? I actually remember this because it seems to me that if we are going to categorize some of our narrow-minded homophobic brothers and sisters,
yes.
they are sometimes, rightly or wrongly, categorized as the rural farmer. But it sounds like what I'm learning from you, Ryan Keeley, is that they are very familiar with the fun of anal stimulation in a male, and that if you need to make a bull come, get up his butt.
Yes. And then the vet, it wasn't a vagina, it was more of like a...
It's a side thing.
So there's different methods.
Wow. A woman who has a farm in North Dakota.
Oh. So
this
she...
was a dairy farm.
AI cattle, but I mean, we bought semen, but I mean, my brother's...
Who hasn't bought some semen, though, am I right? So if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying that there is another method, which is fake cow vagina.
That's way more disturbing.
I'd like to see one of those, though. Wow. Wouldn't you?
Does anyone have Google?
Anyone? God, I feel like what a waste of
Right?
visual here. I could have had a cow vagina up here the whole show. Would have made it much better. All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, here's a promise. If you are listening to this podcast right now or watching it live, by the time you replay this, I will have a picture of a cow vagina, maybe one from your very farm, available for my viewers. Can we do that? I mean, I gave you a koozie. I feel like it's the least you could do. It looks like a koozie? Hey! All right. Hey, listen, I was charging $7 for these. They're now $50. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ryan Keeley. Oh my God, I love you so much. Ryan Keeley, ladies and gentlemen. You know how smart you have to be to just stand up and be like, I know about butts. Cow butts, vaginas, the whole deal. Well, listen, here's the truth is that there is another option for us, okay, Wisconsinites, people who love Wisconsin. I did dig deep in the annals, and I found the true historical fact that we can all be proud of, all right? And it is this. It was September 15th, 1971, in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, that the first ever pair of panties was thrown at a rock star. Yes, that was us. That was us, Mary. We did that. It was Tom Jones, if you're curious. He asked, "What's new, pussycat?" And we answered him. And we love it. Anyone here ever thrown their panties at a rock star? You did? I believe you. Who? Geddy Lee. Boy, fuck, you know how good you gotta be to get panties I ain't never heard of you? Who's Geddy Lee? Oh shit, I'm a fool, I'm a nerd. You guys all know. I'm ashamed of myself. Did he catch him? Yeah, he did! Hey, what's your name? Melinda, you threw your panties at a Rush concert. Did you know going in that you were gonna do it, or were you filled with the spirit? Okay, so this is something that I feel like we can identify, because I've been throwing my panties for years. Here's one of the problems, and maybe you had this too. You can't always get to them. Right?
It's a little hard with my fiance in the way.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. Let's just assume you can get to them panties in a hurry. Sometimes you got people in front of you, some of whom you may marry someday. He was so tall. You should have given him the panties. He probably could have gone. They could have gone the distance. This is tricky. Yeah. And I wear a lot of jumpsuits. Sometimes you just don't know. Here, let me tell you what you do. I've been working on this. I've done a lot of field research. If you want to throw your panties like a Wisconsinite, here's what you do. You're wearing panties. You keep those on. Those are for you. Okay? And then you pack your throwing panties. Exactly. Now you're ready. Look at her. Did you see what she did there with her fingers? She was like, and then you get the spin. I mean, whatever your strategy. And this way, when you have throwing panties, you don't got to wait around for the moment. You can start dispensing these things on whomever may be deserving. The Uber driver. Dentist, your servers tonight. I think they've been great. And you guys have not only been a great crowd, you've been my favorite crowd ever. I brought a pair of throwing panties in anticipation of this very moment. And if you're thinking to yourself, boy, I wish I had a pair of throwing panties, this is what you do. You get them 10 at a time on Amazon from Hanes Herways. And I feel like, you know what I mean? This is handy to have for if things go sideways with the pandemic, you got a mask. You never know. I like this one because I can write encouraging phrases on them. This one says, "You deserve this." And I've signed them. And really, I feel like everybody here, I wish I had enough for everybody. I really do. But I feel like I actually have someone in particular I'd like to have these panties. There's so many amazing people here tonight. So many guests, so many friends. I have one of my dear friends is John Summers is sitting right over here. The reason I'm pointing you out, John, is only because you've told me how much you really genuinely dislike it when I do. John Summers, ladies and gentlemen, is one of my neighbors from when I lived in the trailer park. I moved to LA 10 years ago in an RV, and I lived for 4 years in a trailer park in Van Nuys. And one of my absolute favorite neighbors is this guy, John Summers. And he came out here to see me, and I love him so much. And not for nothing, but he happened to write one of my favorite songs of all time, which is "Thank God I'm a Country Boy." And I just think you're one of the coolest dudes ever. And I think we can all agree that one of the deepest signs of respect you can show someone is throwing your underwear at them. And so, ladies and gentlemen, join me in saying thank you, John Summers. You deserve this, John. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been HILF Live. Thank you so much for coming out. I love you, I love you, I love you.